Welcome to this course in transforming your inner critic into your inner best friend in 12 simple and practical steps. Maybe what has brought you to this course is a longing for more ease and flow in your life. You may have a lot of stress, recovering from burnout, or perhaps you're longing for deeper connections, a life of more meaning and purpose. Maybe you've realized that the way that you talk to yourself, your self-talk, has a direct impact on how you feel, both emotionally and physically. Perhaps you would like some better relationships, an easier way to navigate all the relationships in your life, and you've realized that your connection with yourself and how you relate to yourself also impacts how you relate to other people. So I'm going to guide you through 12 practices that have transformed my life and helped me to be a much better person, both to myself, much kinder, and kinder to other people in the world. So ultimately, this is giving you tools for navigating your daily life, dealing with the curveballs that life throws at us. We can't prevent those from coming, but we can change the way that we respond to them. And ultimately, I'm hoping to enroll you in my greater vision of cultivating more kindness in the world, which I believe starts with learning to be kinder to ourselves. So who can benefit from this course? Everyone. Absolutely everyone. But particularly people who have high levels of self-criticism, maybe some depression and anxiety, perhaps if you're in recovery from burnout, dealing with challenging relationships, or you're just simply on a personal growth journey of longing to create a better life for yourself and a more fulfilling future. It's definitely for creative people. Criticism, self-criticism, and lack of confidence is really what holds us back from showing up in the world and shining with our gifts. So this is for anyone and everyone who wants to cultivate a little more kindness to themselves, because ultimately this will impact who you are in the world, how you are in the world, and the impact that you have on the world around you. So in this video, I'm going to go a little bit into what the methodology and approach of this course is. And that starts with telling you a little bit about who I am. Who am I to guide you through learning to be kinder to yourself? So really it starts with my childhood, where I experienced a lot of pain. I grew up in quite a toxic and abusive blended family, and without needing to go into details, I experienced a lot of pain, both in emotional and physical abuse, particularly in growing up in an environment of a lot of shame and criticism, so that by the time I was an adult, I had a very strong inner critic, a lot of self-criticism, which held me back in the things that I wanted to do. I started out in music and dropped out due to performance anxiety and lack of self-confidence and lack of belief in myself. Really, my life kind of imploded in my early adulthood, and I set out on this quest, this long personal growth journey that has led me to this point. I'm now 50, and finally to this kind of discovering that self-compassion and self-kindness is the foundation of everything. And for me, it has been the key to transforming my life, my relationships, how I feel in my day-to-day living. So my background is in education. I started out as a piano teacher, and then I went into English language education. I lived in Japan for a number of years, and in Australia I've continued teaching English to international students at a university. I've taught online, I've taught young children through to elderly people in all kinds of environments. And in teaching English communication, I also came to realize that self-criticism holds us back from learning and achieving the things that we want to achieve in our life. So the more that I started to explore how I was communicating, the more I realized that this was something that I wanted to share because it was having such a profound impact on me. So 7 years ago, I started to explore a form of communication called nonviolent communication, also known as compassionate communication, or NVC for short. And this led me on a huge journey of exploration and transformation. and it transformed every area of my life. I went into it because I was wanting to actually change the way that my son was communicating. He has quite a strong leadership type personality, and I realized that if I wanted to raise a diplomatic leader, I needed to actually model that through the way that I was communicating with him, which was impacting on how he was communicating with other people. And so as I explored and started practicing and delving into compassionate communication, it changed everything. But the real turning point was realizing that it started with self-compassion and self-kindness. How can I be kind to anybody else if I'm not kind to myself? And the famous shame and empathy researcher Brené Brown has shown in her research that we can only love other people as much as we love ourselves. So whilst in the beginning it was hard for me to feel motivated to learn to love myself more, when I started to think that I could only love my husband and children and my friends as much as I loved myself, that gave me a bit of a scare, because I really didn't like myself that much. And so it became my motivation, actually, in wanting to love them more. I realized that I would have to learn to love myself better. So a big part of that is the inner critic. And in exploring this approach to becoming friends with my inner critic and learning to listen to her differently has changed everything. Now, there are a lot of books and courses out there and articles on how to overcome your inner critic and suppress them, and there's even a book called something like Beat the Bitch in Your Head. And for me, this hasn't worked, because again, if that's how I'm treating myself when I speak harshly to myself, if I'm going to sort of beat that person or see them as an enemy, then that's how I'm also seeing other people when they speak harshly to me. But if I can learn to turn towards my inner critic and listen to her with different ears and listen to what's underneath those harsh words and the real intention in her heart of what she wants for me, things really start to change. And this applies also to how you communicate with people in the world. So this 7-year journey has been transformational. I'm now a certified trainer, internationally certified trainer with the Center for Nonviolent Communication, and this is my passion. I run workshops, online courses, one-on-one coaching, and basically just really sharing the tools and practices of compassionate communication, as well as compassion-focused therapy, which I've also done some studies in. And finally, my purpose in life is cultivating kindness, because I want to live in a kinder world. I want to enjoy my life. I want to have fun. I want to live a life of meaning and purpose. I've spent most of my adult life recovering from my childhood. And the way that I've been able to make sense of that is to now help other people to heal and get more fulfillment in their life. So ultimately, as I said, my mission is to cultivate more kindness in the world through helping people to be kinder to themselves, to learn to be their own inner best friend. Now, the style of my course is basic and simple. There's no fancy bells and whistles here. It's me talking and some notes to help me, a few images. But it is a very practical course with practical steps that you can learn. And I really recommend that you have a dedicated journal, a journal just for this course, which you can continue to use once the course finishes. And take notes. It really does help if you can take notes as you listen to the videos, or in your reflections once you've watched a video or done a practice. There are sheets to download, which also give a written sort of guide for each of the practices. I've got various other resources to support, like links and resources around some of the focuses in the course, the vocabulary and so on. This is an interactive course. I really invite you to join, to send messages through the course program, and we can develop a relationship of working together to cultivate more kindness, both in yourself and in the world.